I have a question though. Did any of y'all play sports as a kid or high
Yeah,
school?
go sports.
I tried
Yeah.
out.
Yes, I played a lot of sports.
I tried out for football once, but the coach told me to just go sit down. True
He's like,
story. It's a true
not for
story.
you. But you were a
You know
band,
Barney
right?
Stinson?
Yeah.
Did you see the story of Barney Stinson? Where Barney's mom's like, "Oh, the coach said that you're too good and you make all the other players feel bad. Come on, we'll go start our own team." That was
Got
Peach
him.
right there.
No.
Well, like playing
Oh,
sports. Like,
mijo, you throw the ball too good. Come on, let's go. We'll go play baseball at home.
no. His parents would not have spared him his feelings.
It's true.
But so I played basketball, growing up, and I loved it. I mean, I loved being from middle school to early high school. I played, and it was a great experience. It was bonding, during off season, like the conditioning aspect, and it built like a team spirit. And I'm pretty sure that you guys had also experienced that in your sports, because I know, Ethan, you played baseball and you did wrestling. Keelan, so I want to say soccer. I am making that up.
Softball.
I played softball till about my freshman year, and then I joined the dance team.
Yeah. She had to decide if she wanted to date guys or girls, so they kicked her off the team.
Wow.
Damn. I don't think that's a.
Yeah.
You
Anyway,
you never been around the softball players, have you?
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So I had come across this interesting article on the New York Times, and they're talking about how traditional sports are kind of being phased out and more esports are kind of what Gen Z is going for. Even before the pandemic, the numbers of kids or youths that were in sports was pretty dismal. It was 38% of children in, traditional sports. And now after the pandemic, where, of course, parents took their kids out of these, I guess, what do they call, touch sports,
Contact sports?
We're seeing, contact sports. Thank you, Beach. We're seeing more of a pull to Fortnite, other things like that. And I thought that was interesting because, at first glance, and we talked about this yesterday, Crazy mentioned oh, I feel like that's a regression in society. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about the traditional sports kind of being phased out, like the NBA 2K games, or it's just not a highlight of kids' interests nowadays?
I mean, I never played any of those games, and I was never one that was receptive to them. I tried playing them, but I wasn't a big sports person. I tend to lean more towards shooters, and I mean that only makes sense to me as to why they're not getting popular. I mean, not a lot of people are paying as much attention to sports nowadays. When was the last time that we saw a Spurs game?
But why aren't you? That's the question, right? Why? Because the professional sports level became more about opinions and speaking people's minds than it was actually playing the sport. And I think that was that hurt sports altogether.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
And it's really going to vary to where people live. So in my hometown, I know people who, they've been out of school for 10, 20 years, but they still go to the high school football game every Friday night. They still they'll go to away games or, So I think it's just really going to vary on that front as well.
Yeah, small town life, especially football, for sure.
Yeah.
But, why I think it's a regression is pretty simple. I mean, humans crave human contact, right? And you do get some human contact through the internet, but still, I mean, I think it's a cornerstone of our foundation of our society that we shouldn't let go so easily. And I mean, I think it's important for kids to kind of struggle together and build, diversity builds things and it helps people move forward. Mm-hmm. So I think it's something that even if a lot of parents find it easier to let it is easier to let your kids play Fortnite than it is to have to take your kids to the baseball game, right? Like
Yeah.
Practice
you
three
want your
times a week.
yeah, if you want to play baseball, you have to take them to practice. You have to take them out to the park. You got to go outside and throw it with them. You know what I mean? Like you got to teach them.
Mhm.
You got to buy the uniform. You got to buy the equipment. You have to pay for all the snacks and the drive time.
Yeah, so it is easier to just let them play Fortnite, but that always the question is like, is it better because it's easier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
True.
I can't discount like gaming though. Like in the esports world, because I feel like it can teach some teamwork aspects. Like for example, when Circle Jerks, you guys play Back for Blood, you have to work as a team. When we play, and this is not a video game per se, but when we play Dungeons and Dragons, we have to work as a team. And sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but that's kind of like that interpersonal conflict that gets taught regardless. But I do agree with Crazy in the aspect that being on a sports team, it teaches you about accountability. It teaches you about discipline. It teaches you to hold yourself responsible for your own actions. And when you're part of a team, you're part of something major. You feel more connected to your community. So I think I thought it was an interesting article, and I wanted to pick y'all's brains. But I think that there's value in sports, and if it's not a kid's forte, it's just not their forte. But at least have them try something to for their interest, especially for health reasons. Our kid, yeah, our kids in America, we have a leading obese rates. I'm pretty sure sitting in front of a TV screen or a computer screen doesn't help that either.
No.
So
Yeah.
you gotta push your kids a little bit more. And Crazy is absolutely right. If you're saying oh, okay, this is an interest of yours, yes, nurture it, but also don't just opt for the easier option either. Us as parents, we're looking to put our little one in something in the springtime so he gets that socialization in some aspect.
I mean, but even then, like y'all talked about where you had to tell them stop coming to me for your video game help, right? Like you got to beat that level.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that right there is teaching the good lesson, but I just don't see that being the same intensity of lesson that they would learn in a pressure situation on a baseball field, right? Like the ball comes to you, what do you got to do? And I don't know. I think the physical act of a lot of these sports also teaches people how to handle high pressure situations like that.
Shady.
Yeah.
Even have to be sports. It could be, a chess club, debate club, where you're still getting that competitiveness and that pressure, but it doesn't even have to necessarily have to be a physical activity.
Right. Yeah.
And also, I mean, sports are a great way for people to learn to be yelled at in a way, right? That sometimes you got to be able to handle being yelled at, even if it's something little, right? And I don't know how else to do it.
Accept
there's
defeat.
No crying in baseball, right?
Seriously. Well, learning to accept defeat and learning learning what you could do better for next time. I think a lot of kids these days, it's because we're seeing this trend a lot with Gen Z. A lot of kids these days, they get so angry when they're not, they get so uncomfortable and anxious when they're not immediately good at something and they don't want to try it again. Well, where's that push to be okay, you gotta keep trying at something. We have a saying in our household, practice makes permanent. We don't believe in perfectionism, but practice does make permanent. So, if you're a parent out there or, you're looking to have kids soon, please, consider putting your kid in some type of sport or gauging their interests and seeing what's out there for them. I do think it's really important. It does really build, even UIL, I was in nerd shit. I did newsletter writing, editorial writing, and I got a letter for it for my Letterman jacket. But even that was being part of a team in some aspect, even if it was an academic aspect.
I feel like we should have wore Letterman jackets for this segment.
Oh my god! I have to find mine. I think my mom has mine.
But even then, so that comes to it. Do you think that the time we spent of participation trophies did that deter a lot of people's interest in sports because there was no actual, you know, no risk to it? So why even do it?
Probably.
Mm,
I
maybe.
mean, games went from skirmishes to nope, we're just having fun now. Like, no, you have fun at your skirmishes, not the game.
Yeah, I mean the the ability to lose something, I don't know, is a good driving motivator that a lot of people are lacking in life right now. I think that's because of the participation.
But I think there's a difference between like playing a game to have fun and then being competitive. You know, like Keelan was saying, you know, you have a scrimmage or you're just playing like a little game with your friend, like a big pickup game. That's different than something of a competition. But like, I don't know. I think it's really in the lessons that are being taught too. Like being able to say like, yeah, we took that loss. You know, like any NBA player, it just wasn't our night. Like we're gonna have to come at it next time. That's
But then
important to self-reflect that way.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be crying because you pulled a hammy.
No, if you injure yourself, you have every reason to cry.
Come on, we all know LeBron fake cries.
Oh, yeah, he's a flopper.
He cries just because there was no AC that one time. I remember that.
Right. I got a cramp because the Spurs turned off the AC to cheat. That was the moment where I'm like, oh my god, this guy's a fucking joke. Like,
I hate, yeah. But see, like I miss basketball in that space. Like now, like I have no idea what's going on in sports, like basketball in particular.
That's the only, like the Spurs. I know Pop keeps making a lot of big statements about his political beliefs, and it's like, that's cool. Why are the Spurs losing? You know, like I don't want to hear about that. Why are the Spurs losing? Come on, get it together. We're a championship team, people.
After number 21 hung up that jersey, I was like, I can't. I'm in mourning.
See, and that was where they messed up because Pop said that he was going to retire with Tim Duncan, and then he didn't, and then he held on to it so long that they lost Becky, and I forget what team she went to now.
Yeah, Utah, I thought.
Yeah.
Was Becky Hammond.
Yeah, Becky Hammond.
Look, if my high school had offered an esports division, I would have joined so fast. Like I enjoy playing like sports for competition, especially like Pokemon Pokemon Unite. Like that shit is a lot of fun.
But especially when you're playing with marching band, right?
What's up?
Yeah.
You did marching band, right?
Yeah,
like,
I did marching band.
Think about what would you rather have done, marching band or sit at your computer by yourself?
I would have liked to have done both if I could.
But I mean, to that though, you could, bring in the clubs. It could be a D&D club. It could be a Fortnite club. Didn't they used to have official Halo competitions?
They do. And
some high schools
like,
do, yeah.
Yeah.
But esports competitions are very real. Like one of my people at work, he plays Destiny. He's like top 2% like ranked player in Destiny. Wow. And I was looking up like how hard that is. I was like, damn, like that's impressive to be that good at a game. Like I don't know. For like first person shooters, I'm so bad at. Like the camera goes everywhere, so I'm very impressed by it.
Yeah,
there was this girl. There was this girl in South Korea that got banned from playing. Oh my god, that was one Blizzard game. Anyway, she got banned for it because she was that good, and then it turned out that she wasn't actually cheating. Like people are just innately good at these kind of games.
So they banned her because she was a girl.
They banned her because she was too good, and they believed that she was cheating. We actually talked about it a couple weeks back. This was when the whole Hong Kong thing was going on down.
Okay, if it was the guy that was too good, would they have banned him?
If they'd
just been like, "Oh, look at this phenomenal player," but because it's a girl.
Yeah,
yeah. In the esports world,
too.
Yeah, it didn't like the gender doesn't make a thing. They're just really petty people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Equal pettiness.
Oh, it was Overwatch. The game was called Overwatch. It just came to me.
By the way, I just Googled this, but apparently it's believed that Becky Hammond might take over the Spurs next season.
I hope so.
Good. Like she should have.
Interesting.
Honestly, she earned it years ago.
She did. She was the first woman assistant coach in the NBA, and she did really great work. Like, really great work. She had an amazing career behind her at that.
Well, yeah. I mean, she led the Stars to their first championship, and then she was part of the 2014 championship.
Was she really that long ago?
She was a shooting coach, yeah, I believe. It was right before she got assistant.
Nice. Shitty! I was waiting to do it.
So yeah, I thought that was an interesting article.
Well, that wraps up another great episode, and don't forget to join our amazing and supportive community on Discord.
In our Discord, you can find game nights, watch parties, food pics, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. What's not to love about that? We have a little something for everyone. Head over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find more info, especially our featured Gamer of the Week.
Speaking of something for everyone, we have a book club. We read a book almost every month and talk through it together. We also have a special perk for our subs to discuss other books in a series called Chapter 2.
Don't forget to swing by YouTube and drop us a follow at Official Millennials. You can also find us on Twitter at MillsOfficial. We appreciate all the support, and y'all have a good one.
This is an Official Millennials production.